There are times when the waiting feels unbearable, when the answer to our prayers seems delayed. But what if, in the waiting, God is preparing something far beyond our understanding? Sometimes, His perfect timing leads us down a road we never expected, but one that will teach us more about His love than we could ever imagine. In a small, quiet village near the banks of the Ganges in Varanasi, there lived a couple named Aditi and Rohan. They were devoted, loving, and full of hope, but their hearts ached for one thing: a child of their own. Despite their prayers and efforts, year after year passed without the fulfillment of their dream. Their friends' families grew, and the longing inside them only deepened. Yet they chose to wait on the Lord, believing in His perfect timing. Years passed, and though they found solace in each other's company, a deep void lingered in their hearts. One evening, as Aditi sat by the window, looking out at the setting sun, she whispered a prayer to God. "Lord, we've waited so long. If it is your will, please bless us with a child. We trust you, and we will wait as long as it takes." With faith in their hearts, Aditi and Rohan continued to live their lives, not knowing that the answer to their prayer was already in motion, hidden behind the scenes of their daily lives. Then one day, Aditi awoke to the news she had longed for. She was pregnant. The joy that filled her heart was indescribable. She and Rohan celebrated, feeling as though their prayers had finally been answered. However, the joy was tinged with worry as Aditi's pregnancy was classified as high risk. The doctors warned her that complications might arise, but Aditi held on to the belief that God's plan would unfold perfectly in His timing. As the months went by, Aditi's body changed, and she felt the anticipation build. But with the excitement, there was a constant, nagging fear that lingered in the back of her mind. She had prayed so many times for this child, but now that it was coming, she felt a new kind of fear. What if something went wrong? What if she wasn't prepared for what the Lord had in store? Finally, after months of waiting, Aditi went into labor. It was a long, exhausting night, filled with uncertainty and fear. The doctors worked quickly, and soon they delivered a baby boy. He was small and fragile, his breathing shallow, his tiny body struggling to adjust to the world outside his mother's womb. But as Aditi held him in her arms for the first time, she noticed something that caught her breath: a series of irregularities in his little body. The doctors quickly informed her that her son was born with a rare condition. His health would require constant care, and he would likely face many challenges throughout his life. Aditi felt her heart sink. This wasn't the child she had prayed for. He wasn't the healthy, bouncing baby she had imagined. Instead of the perfect answer to her prayers, she had been given a child with special needs. It seemed cruel at first. Why had God allowed this? Why had He made her wait so long, only to give her a child who would need so much more than she was prepared to give? In the days that followed, Aditi and Rohan wrestled with their feelings of disappointment and confusion, but the love they felt for their son was undeniable. They spent countless hours by his side, caring for him and learning about his needs. They poured their hearts into him, never once considering giving up or giving in to despair. One day, as Aditi sat beside her son's crib, watching him struggle to take a breath, she felt a gentle nudge in her spirit. It was as though God was speaking to her heart, reminding her that He had always been in control, even when she couldn't see it. "I gave you this child because I knew you were strong enough to love him unconditionally. I didn't give you the child you expected. I gave you the child you needed." It wasn't easy. There were days when Aditi and Rohan felt overwhelmed, unsure if they could continue the fight, but each day they found new strength in their faith. They began to see their son not as a burden but as a blessing. one that taught them more about God's love than they could have ever learned from an easy, perfect life. As the years passed, their son, Arav, defied the odds in ways that left doctors and specialists speechless. His condition didn't define him. Instead, he grew up to be an intelligent, compassionate, and determined young man. His struggles built in him a resilience that inspired everyone around him. He excelled in academics and had a mind that grasped complex problems with ease. His passion for engineering led him to a prestigious university in Delhi, where he pursued his dreams with relentless dedication. Despite his physical challenges, Arav became an innovator, creating assistive devices for children with disabilities, determined to make the world a better place for those like him. His work caught the attention of researchers and philanthropists, and soon he was making a global impact. He was no longer the frail child who struggled for breath. He was a beacon of hope for thousands. One afternoon, Aditi sat by the window, watching her grown son give a speech at an international conference. His voice was strong, his eyes filled with purpose. In that moment, she understood. God's timing wasn't just about getting what we wanted. It was about receiving what we needed to grow in faith, in love, and in trust. Her son had become the greatest gift she could have ever asked for, and his journey had strengthened their faith in ways they never could have imagined. If you are waiting on God, trust in His perfect timing. His plans are greater than ours, and though the road may seem uncertain, He is always working behind the scenes. Sometimes, His answer may not look like what we expected, but it is always exactly what we need. Trust in His perfect timing. His plan is bigger than your dreams, and it is always worth the wait.